Monster eats monster. Rachel is still looking at the TV screen, watching her murderer. Kimmy, standing over her lifeless corpse, stabbing repeatedly, trying to get the body to sink. Why won't this bitch just sink? Unbeknownst to Kimmy, she was being stalked by a figure in the bushes. Chris, exhausted from the batting cage, witnessed the whole thing. Oh, fuck! The branch beneath his foot gave way, making a terrible crack. Kimmy swung her head towards the sound. She finally noticed the mysterious figure in the bushes. That's when Chris stepped forward, hands raised above his head. He started to speak. I know why you did it. I know why you did it. Then Chris retrieved his pocket knife. You need to slit their stomachs if you don't want them to float. Chris trying to assure her that he just wants to help. She reluctantly picked up the knife, turned back to Rachel, piercing the bottom of her sternum, working it down to her pelvic bone. Chris gave Kimmy a hand. Then it came time to dispose of his former friend, James. Kimmy wasn't a stupid girl. She'd seen Criminal Minds. Knowing she's going to have to turn the knife on her would be accomplice. Not knowing Chris was already in the middle of his plan. The bat connected to Kimmy's skull, forceful enough to detach her retina. She collapsed in a pile, pocket knife scattering across the dock, finding its resting place in the water. Chris picked Kimmy's crumpled body up, slinging her over his shoulder. Chris couldn't pass up the opportunity for his dark fantasy. He bound Kimmy's ankles and wrists with an orange extension cord from his truck. Chris loaded Kimmy's unconscious body into the back seat. The old Chevy pointed east, taking his new toy to his parents' vacation home in Maine. Fading in and out of consciousness, Kimmy hears the leaves being crushed beneath the tires of the truck. Chris threw the old Chevy in park. Kimmy heard the door shut. She knew her best chance of surviving relied on her ability to fake dead. Chris opened the door, grabbing Kimmy's hair. The skin lifted off her skull. Kimmy erupted in screams, blood spraying out of her newly opened wound. Chris managed to drag her to the cabin door. He was having a hard time juggling the keys and his screaming victim. He decided to pull back her head, slamming it in the handrail until she stopped fighting him. Chris eventually got her to the middle of the floor. Kimmy laid there, the infection in her brain slowly spreading. Her will to fight is fleeting. Chris, satisfied, knowing that Kimmy is unmoving, he puts his finger on her wrist. She still has a pulse. Chris decided to grab the old dog runner. Kimmy started to come to. She noticed Chris in the kitchen, hovering above a burner. She turned her head in disgust. The only thing separating her from freedom is a screen door. She gathered up her last remaining strength and charged toward the door. Her hand reaching out, the wire attached to her Achilles tendon stretched to its max. Her face slammed into the hardwood floor, teeth scattering like Yahtzee dice. Chris smiled with glee. The only thing that can get him off is watching others suffer. Chris went back to the kitchen. Kimmy still conscious, blood oozing where her teeth used to be. He came back with a glowing red spoon to cauterize her still bleeding mouth. Chris pulled back her head, getting ready to cauterize. Kimmy refused to open her mouth. Chris got excited about the defiance. He placed the glowing spoon on her bloodshot eye. She erupted in screams. I thought you weren't going to open? Chris said, cauterizing her bleeding gums. She passed out from the pain. Chris woke early the next day, noticing his new dog is turning green from the infection. He isn't done yet. He wants more. So he stepped over Kimmy's barely alive body, grabbed the steaming hot pot of coffee and dumped it on her. All she did was groan. She wasn't making those wonderful screams anymore, so he stomped on her throat repeatedly, until he heard the satisfying crack he was after. Kimmy got greeted by a door, simply reading dead. She read the sign, but she didn't argue like Rachel had. She just took her seat in front of the TV. Come back soon for part 3 of Monster Eats Monster. Chris's story.